Hi, I'm Brittany Allyn, and welcome to Savor the Flavors. My husband and I love to savor the flavors of Cajun and Creole cuisine, and we also love a big, juicy burger. What we'll make today is all of that and then some. On the menu, I'll share my recipe for Gumbo Burgers. Any great burger has at least one condiment, and today we're going to make a Cajun Remoulade to put on top of our Gumbo Burgers. We'll start with a half cup of good quality mayonnaise. Here I've got the green from one scallion that I've finely minced, 1.5 teaspoons of fresh squeezed lime juice, and a half teaspoon of Cajun seasoning. You'll find Cajun seasoning in the spice aisle at the grocery store. It's this wonderful spice blend of cayenne and paprika, thyme, celery seed, all sorts of great things in there. We're just going to stir this until everything is evenly combined. And then we're going to refrigerate it until we're ready to use it. I always like to mix this on first so it gives plenty of time for all those flavors to start to work together and marry. And there you have a Cajun Remoulade. Now, we're sort of combining gumbo and burgers, and there's a few ingredients that are always in gumbo that we're going to put in our burgers, and I prepared those earlier. Now it's time to mix on our burgers. For that, I've got 1.5 pounds of very lean ground beef, and you want to make sure and use something very lean because we're going to add to this some andouille sausage. Andouille is a Cajun spiced pork sausage, and for this you want to make sure and use fresh andouille. What I'm going to do is just take a knife and cut along the sausage here, just like this. And what I want to do is remove the casing from the outside. So we just have the sausage. We don't need the casing for this. And then we're going to take the sausage and just sort of break it up over the top of our ground beef. And this will sort of help get it evenly dispersed throughout the burgers. Now, if you can, you might want to call ahead and have your butcher grind the beef and the andouille together. That would save you some time, but this also works very well too. Just spread it out evenly across the beef. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now what we're going to do is take that vegetable mixture that we sauteed earlier with the Holy Trinity, the bell pepper and the onion and the celery, and also those cloves of garlic. And what I'm doing now is just removing the garlic because it's done its part. It's infused this mixture with great garlic flavor, and we don't need the whole cloves. Now what I'm going to do is just put this over the top of our meat mixture. We want, again, this evenly dispersed throughout our burgers. Make sure and get all of it in there. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. And now we're going to season this. We need 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Just kind of sprinkle that evenly over across the top. And then we have some more of that Cajun seasoning. We want to layer our flavors here. So we're going to put it in the burgers as well, just sprinkling it across the top, like that. And I've got 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And lastly, some hot sauce. You can use your favorite hot sauce for this. And we need about 1/2 teaspoon. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this, sprinkle it across the top, about like that. And then to mix these, the best way to do it is with these. Just get in there and sort of squish it together like this. You want this evenly combined, but you also want to be careful to not overmix it. Okay, once you have it all mixed together, just sort of shape it into a loaf like this. Get everything in there. And we're just going to kind of eyeball it and cut it in half, about like that. And then each half we're going to cut into thirds. because this recipe makes 6 burgers. So just kind of divide it evenly. That's looking pretty good. And we're gonna take this and shape it into patties. Now, when you're shaping a patty, no matter what type of burger you're making, you always want to put a divot in the middle, sort of like the palm of your hand has a divot, because that keeps your burgers nice and flat when you grill them instead of puffing up like they want to do. So make sure you keep a divot. Now, the size of our patties, we want to be about 4.5 inches in diameter. And I happen to know that this length of my hand here, from the base to my top knuckle there, is about 4.5 inches. And so that's how I gauge the size of my patties. You might want to use your own gauge. But anyway, just take it then and put it on a parchment lined sheet. These are nice big burgers. We're gonna mix on the rest of them and then put them in the refrigerator till we're ready to grill them. Now, what I like to do, today I'm actually going to grill just 2 of them because it's just my husband and I, but what I like to do is freeze the rest. I freeze them in packages of 2 with parchment paper in between them, and that way I have an easy dinner on another night. I can just thaw them out and put them on the grill and I'm good to go. So, speaking of grill, I'm gonna finish this up and I'm gonna go start our grill. It seems burgers usually come with pickles on top, and so I wanted some sort of pickle on our burger. And then I remembered that gumbo isn't gumbo unless it has okra in it. So I decided to use okra pickles and make them even better by making deep fried okra pickles. Earlier I prepared our okra for frying. Now, as you can see, I've got our okra slices here, nice and dry. Here I've got 1 egg white and also some cornmeal breading. And you can find that usually in the grocery store where you find flour and other breading of different types. And I'm just gonna take our okra pieces and put them in. I've got egg white here, like I said, and then just coat them with the egg white and put them in the cornmeal mixture. Now, you can make your own cornmeal mixture. I like to. That recipe is part of this recipe. Basically, it's just yellow cornmeal, garlic powder, onion powder, some paprika, and we'll just coat these till they're all evenly breaded. Just get in there with your hands and get it nice and coated. Okay, once you have them all breaded, we're gonna go over here, and I've got some oil heating on the stove. I've got about 1 inch of vegetable oil in a deep pot, and it's heated to about 325, 350 degrees. And we're just gonna slowly, carefully drop these into the oil and fry them. We'll work in batches so our oil stays nice and hot. And we're gonna fry them for about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes until they're nice and golden brown. And then we'll remove them to a paper towel lined plate. I've also got my oven preheating to 200 degrees, and I've got a baking sheet in there with a baking rack on top. We'll put our okra pickles, once they're fried, on top of that baking rack, and that way they'll stay nice and warm and crispy until we're ready to put them on our burgers. Now it's time to assemble our burgers. While they were grilling, I toasted some buns. I just put a little butter on the halves, popped them under the broiler till they were nice and lightly toasted. Of course, you could toast them on the grill if you wanted to too. Now, we're just gonna take one of our burgers. Look at that, fits perfectly on the bun. And we're gonna top that with a slice of tomato. I always like to season my tomato with just a little bit of salt. It brings out the flavors wonderfully. And we're gonna take some of those okra pickles, still nice and warm, for an added crunch. And then our other bun half, we're gonna top with some of that gorgeous Cajun Remoulade. We want a nice slather of that. And there you have a gumbo burger. Now, whenever I'm serving something kind of spicy, I like to serve it with something cool and creamy. So today I've got a side of my fennel Dijon potato salad to go along with it. That recipe, as well as this one, are available on my website, savortheflavors.tv. Now, the next time you're gonna make a burger, take a little trip through Louisiana and savor the flavors of Gumbo Burgers.